come to know Christ without somebody introducing Christ to us.
In FCA, we are passionate. Not just passionate about how do we make the lost found, but how do we make the found stay faithful? And we've seen the E3 model play out on the big stage.
I just see lives change.
The way God moved through my team.
Just see God move in amazing ways.
Coaches, athletes, family members. This isn't just something that we do, it's someone we become.
We want to engage the non-believer.
And meet them where they're at.
That's really what you see in the Great Commission, and we're really just living it out through FCA.
It's allowed me to find athletes that really want to grow.
And the coaches in FCA kept equipping me.
Make sure that you're ready, that you're equipped in God's word to lead coaches and athletes.
So that I could take that back and be able to teach what I've learned.
Making an impact not just on themselves, but everyone around them.
And not just my teammates, but my little brother, my sister.
And then in turn, teach them how to do it.
It's a multi-generational discipleship all around the world.
You're part of the ministry.
Join the movement. Join the mission.
Hey, all right, everybody. Could everybody come and grab a seat? And we're going to get started. All right, so many familiar faces. Somebody could grab everybody in the hallway. Am I echoing or is it just me? Is this good? Is this too much? Well, hello there. So good. Yes. So many sweet families. It's so cool to come back to a place and just see the growth that has occurred since I was involved in FCA. With that knucklehead right there, Coach Lee Stratton, and to see the growth that has happened and what God is doing in North Mississippi. What excitement it just it is. And I was thinking about, as I introduce a close friend of mine, what FCA did. And I will tell you, FCA changed my life. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But it really taught me that life's full of choices, and probably none bigger than who you surround yourself with. Hence the word fellowship. And in the last 12 months, probably one of the highlights, if not the highlight of my last 12 months, is I got to spend 3 days with this gentleman in Utah. And we spent 3 days talking about what does it look like to love our wife more like Christ? What does it look like to love our children intentionally and draw them closer to the King? What's it look like to be a true friend in moments of need and moments of hurt and moments of suffering? And life's full of choices. And for a lot of you young kids that are in high school, for us adults, even for me, the older I get, the more I realize who I surround myself. I want to be around people that draw me closer to Christ. And so I will tell you this, with an absolute privilege to introduce you to a guy that draws me closer to Christ. He inspires me to be a better husband. He inspires me to love my kids more than ever. And he inspires me to be a greater friend. And that's Mr. Colt McCoy. So if y'all will give him an incredible round of applause. Colt. Love you, buddy.
Thanks, dude.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. I'm not Colt. I like our stools.
I like this.
Yeah, that was nice. Whew, there's a lot of people here. Right? You didn't even play in the SEC. All these people. What a great program so far. I want to congratulate my good friend Lee Stratton. for so many years. I love that guy. Y'all love him. Hard not to. Thank you, Grant, Mark, the rest of you, for allowing me to come be a part. What we thought we'd do is ask a few questions. Maybe you want to ask of Colt. We can't be, of course, too lengthy, so I'm going to ask some questions. Maybe you would ask Colt, and then he's going to share a message with us. Is that okay? Colt, that's your real name?
That's my real name. Well, it's my middle name. I'll give you.
All right. What were your parents thinking? What was the?
I don't know. Colt 45.
Okay. The beverage or the gun?
Hopefully
the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they may have been horse enthusiast, or it's a cool name.
I've always asked them, and for generations, my family went by our middle name. I don't know why. And then I had kids, and my wife was like, "We're not going by your middle name." Like, it's so annoying when you're traveling, when you're, your ID. But I always thought, well, it's kind of like my, nobody knows me. Nobody knows Daniel McCoy. Everybody knows.
No. Danny McCoy doesn't say.
It was my alias for a while, and it was awesome.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't have played if your name had been Danny.
Probably not.
No, Colt. Colt, starting quarterback. You were born in Hobbs, New Mexico, September 5th, 1986. You, though, played football, your high school, in Texas at Jim Ned High School. So you crossed the border?
Well, I only lived in New Mexico for a couple years.
Ah.
And there's a story behind that.
Okay.
So, I mean, Texas is, I claim Texas. Texas is, I know you guys claim Mississippi. Just like you love Mississippi. This thing keeps stopping.
Let me fix this real quick.
Got it? Is that better? Okay. Yeah, so playing at the University of Texas, I can't verify this story. I don't remember. But they say that my dad was born in Texas and I was born in Hobbs, New Mexico, which is like 20 miles across the border from Texas. He was the football coach at Lovington, New Mexico. Does anybody know who his star football player would be at Lovington High School in New Mexico? Nobody. It's a good trivia question. Brian Urlacher.
Oh, I was just about to say.
Just about to say. Anyways, I was born in Hobbs, and they said my dad went across to the state line and put dirt in a shoebox and slid it under the bed when I was born, so I was born under Texas soil. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what I was told. But yeah, I only had a couple years in New Mexico, and then moved back to Texas, and that's where I lived.
Early on, you obviously played sports and different sports, but I heard that you played defense in high school.
I went to
got a concussion.
A couple, yeah. I went to a really small school. I mentioned this earlier, and there was 25 boys in my class, so you had to play both ways. I mean, in order to have a football team. But I loved playing defense. In fact, my senior year, we were pretty good, and I had just committed to go play to the University of Texas. And my dad was my high school football coach, and Coach Brown called my dad and said, "Now listen, we're done with the defense." And my dad was like, "Well, who's gonna play safety? I don't have any. I mean, I'm gonna grab a band player or something. I mean, we don't have anybody else." So I snuck out there every now and then, but playing in a small school, playing both ways, I mean, that was fun times.
You guys, when you have a couple of hours, go look at the Texas high school records in 2A and across the history of Texas high school football. A few good players have rolled through there, and he's got most of them. It's amazing.
Well, yeah. In Texas, I'm not sure how Mississippi is, but 1A is 6-man football, and then 2A becomes 11-man football. And then it goes all the way up to 6A as the big school. So 2A was one classification above playing 6-man football. Not hard to break records.
You did it. Now, your time at Texas. I don't know if people, and I read this and I was really impressed with this, maybe more than anything else. You were correct me if I'm wrong, MVP or co-MVP all 4 years you played there at Texas. Is that right?
I think so.
Well, take it from me, you were. I want to ask you, that has to have something to do with not only your skills and how good you were, but also your leadership. And we've been talking about that a lot tonight, leadership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I got a cough drop in my mouth. We had a daddy-daughter dance a couple nights ago, and me and my girls were dancing right in front of the speakers, and I completely lost my voice. It was so loud. So I apologize. I was team captain for 4 years at UT, which had never been done before, and that is voted on by your teammates. And I learned so much during those 4 years, being on good teams, being the captain, lots of responsibility, lots of pressure. Just playing at UT in general is it's kind of like, I played in the NFL for 14 years, and there was probably more media at my UT games than there was in most places I played in the NFL. So it was a lot. And so for me, you had to grow up pretty quick, coming from a small town in West Texas like I did. So it was a ton of fun. I was blessed with awesome teammates and coaches, and won a lot of games, and sure wish I could have beat Alabama that last game for all you guys. But
2009.
They knocked me out.
They did. That was Nick Saban's first at Alabama.
They had some plan to just
take
me out.
Yeah. It just means more.
It shouldn't count.
You'll find that out next year. What do you think about Texas coming to the SEC, man?
Are we ready for it? I don't know.
Are they ready for it? I think Texas is ready for it.
You guys sure talk big. We'll see. We'll see.
We can do that now to the actual game. I want to ask you about Texas because, being a college student without being the big man on campus is hard enough, especially in a place like Austin, Texas, or Oxford, or Starkville, or anywhere else, I would imagine. So you had, I'm sure, more trappings and temptations thrown your way during that period of your life, I would imagine, and then on into the NFL. So I would really love to hear you tell all of us how you cope with that and how you handled it and maintained your faith and strength.
Right. Well, I'll get into that a little bit in a minute, but FCA played a massive role in my life, just as it did for Chad as he introduced me. Chad, thank you for the introduction. Because that's your foundation, right? I was able to be in FCA from 6th grade all the way through my senior year in college, and it was always there for me. And it was, when you go to college, I told some of these young men and women earlier, that's the first time you get to make choices on your own. And there's a lot of choices you can make, and there's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of stuff out there. And surrounding yourself with the right people to lean on, to navigate that part of your life as you're learning and growing. That's so important. And I was able to have friends and teammates who believed the same thing I did, and we kind of held each other accountable, and we worked really hard at our craft, but we also loved Jesus, and we had our priorities in line. And I'm just honestly so thankful for those relationships that were put into my life during that time.
I want to ask you about one particular fan, University of Texas. Do you know who I'm going to ask about?
Is he a little bit saturated? You see him all the time?
Matthew McConaughey?
All right. Yeah.
You know him personally?
I do, yeah.
Been over to his house?
Maybe. Where are you going with this?
My wife wants his phone number, I think. Right? I'm trying, honey. That's awesome.
He's way better looking.
Right. She'll argue with you. I want to hit you with a few questions, just a few quick ones, and just want your take on, well, you missed NIL by that much. What about NIL and transfer and your thoughts on what that is now in college football, how it's changing?
No, you guys need to give your money to FCA, not to NIL, okay?
Thank you. Great answer.
No,
love that answer.
I think, look, it is what it is. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I'm happy that college athletes can get paid for their name, their image, their likeness, but I don't think it was meant to be sort of a pay-for-play scheme, like incentive-based contracts. Like, I think it was meant to say, oh, if I want to go be a spokesperson for this barbecue place and get free food, like, I think that's what it was intended to be, which I'd have loved that in college, my goodness. But at the same time, I think things are evolving. I would say college football is like out in the middle of the ocean, just like a bobber, just bobbing up and down. They don't really know what's going to happen, and I think a lot of things are going to change over the next couple years. And but I just hope the sanctity of I love college football, like love college football. I don't miss Saturdays. Even when I was playing, it was just like I wanted to watch all the college football games. So I just hope it stays pure.
I want to ask you real quick. You played over a dozen years in the NFL, 5 teams. You went Cleveland, San Francisco, New York, Washington, and Arizona. Ended up. Where were you, just trying to see the country? Were you
I spent way too long on the East Coast.
I was just going to ask about all that transition and movement, and also, again, you were telling me earlier about your family. Now, you're a grown man with family, and this has become your career. So talk about, what people may not understand about all the things that you have to do, moving and relocating and all that with your family.
No, that's a great question. It is tough. I married a superstar, just so you guys know. She's amazing. My wife is Rachel. She's head of IT. She's chef. She's planner. I mean, I couldn't do anything. And it was pretty easy. I got drafted by the Browns. I played there for 3 years, and then my 4th year of my rookie contract, I had 3 head coaches in Cleveland. It was just, we didn't win enough. And I got traded to San Francisco, played in San Francisco for a year, and then signed as a free agent in Washington for the Redskins, which I played there for 7 seasons. So that was the place I was at the most. And we loved D.C. A couple of my kids were born there. And then I broke my leg on Monday Night Football in 2018, December. Was playing good football. We were going to make the playoffs. That was a pretty big blow to my career. And then I missed all of 2019. I had three surgeries. It was kind of a mess. And then I kind of thought I was going to retire. Played 10 years, very happy. I had 3 kids at the time. And then I told my agent, I was like, look, 10 years, I'm good, right? I didn't get to accomplish some of my goals, but to play 10 years, I'm so thankful for. And all I wanted to do was be able to kind of run around on my leg and play with my kids. And it wasn't great, but kind of through COVID, I had a trainer who just really kind of took his arm or put his arm around me, and we worked every day during COVID. No mask in Texas. And I got better and better and better. And then when free agency started, my agent called and said, "Hey, are you sure you want to retire?" And I told him, I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of trying to get my leg. And he was like, "Well, you have 5 offers." And I was like, yeah, I'm good, But the Giants kept calling me because when I was in Washington, I always played good against the Cowboys. And Jason Garrett became the offensive coordinator for the Giants. And he was like, I really want you to come and, be my first year in New York and come with me. And he ended up convincing me to go. So I went to New York for a year, and I actually played in 4 games and played really good, won 3 of them. But I knew I did not want to stay in New York. From a small town in West Texas to go to New York City, that's a different deal there. And so I signed in Arizona, and I played in Arizona for 3 years, just finished up this year. And my elbow is pretty ragged. I had elbow surgery at the end of last year, and I think it's probably time, but hey, we'll see.
Tough dude. Tough dude. I remember an injury you sustained where you were laid out. Was that Bennett? Was that? You probably don't remember it, obviously, but I mean, all those. Go ahead.
See, it came to me later.
See,
right?
right?
I'm a little off. Yeah.
But just the wear and tear on your body, we're just thankful you could come here tonight and be with us.
Absolutely. First time to Mississippi. This is great.
All right. I got one more before I go. I'm going to leave him alone. I'm like the guy at the restaurant. Hey, that's... yeah, you got a favorite Elvis song?
Chad was supposed to take me to his house, but maybe we'll go after this.
Yeah, you need to do that. You know Elvis, though, right?
Give me your best impression.
You don't want that. All right. For you, let's see. Love me tender, love me true.
That's pretty good.
Well,
my voice, I can't.
I know you would have joined in. It would have been awesome. Now, guys, I so appreciate this opportunity. Thank y'all again for giving. I can't wait to hear Colt's message. And again, we appreciate you so much, sir. Appreciate your witness.
Thank you, man. I would.
I think I'm just going to switch to this. Is that okay? He said I've been hit a bunch. I got to use my notes. Last night, since I am in Mississippi, last night, I'm not bragging on myself, I promise. But I got inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Wait. Alongside Mike Leach and Jackie Sherrill. Yeah. They were awesome. Coach Leach's son Cody did a great job with the speech. There was a game I had in college in 2008 where we got beat by Texas Tech in Lubbock. We were the #1 team in the country, and Mike Leach is on record saying multiple times, books, quotes, like that was the biggest win of his career. And so he and I went into the same, like when you send them memorabilia, helmets, jerseys, you know, they put some magazine covers and stuff in there, and they put me and Coach Leach in the same kind of box. And then right in the middle, they stapled the 2008 call sheet from the game right next to my jersey. His wife was there, and I was like, seriously? Like, but it was great. And then Jackie Sherrill went in. He was amazing. There was a lot of his old Mississippi State players that were in attendance, and it was pretty cool. So two Mississippi guys. I just want to tell you a little bit more about myself, and then I want to give you 2 stories on, you know, the importance of FCA, what FCA has meant to me, and just like Chad, it's played a pivotal role in my life. But I'm married to my wife, Rachel. We've been married 13 years. We have 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy, Sloan, Brooke, Judd, and Shay, 8, 7, 5, and 3. So